There we go. Okay, Linda, you're good to go.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the January 2022 meeting of the Township of Woolwich Committee of Adjustment. This meeting is being held electronically due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Precautions and measures are in place regarding social distancing to ensure the health and safety of those in attendance at the municipal office. I will remind the committee and members of the public that this meeting is being recorded and live streamed to the Township's YouTube channel. Anyone who registered to participate in this meeting will be invited to speak in the order of the applications being heard today. I will do a roll call of the committee for the benefit of those public watching the meeting. When I call your name, committee members, please wave at the camera and say here or present. So I, Linda Dixon, am present and chairing this meeting. Committee members are Jim Beerley.
Here and present.
Tim Cronin.
I'm here.
Hans Potkammer.
Here and present.
Charles Zeidler. And we have staff attending with us today. We have our planner, David Gundrum.
Present.
And our recording secretary, Nancy Thompson.
Present.
Thank you. At this time, I will provide an explanation of the procedures for today's meeting. Each application will I'm having trouble speaking today too. Each application will be read by our secretary treasurer, Nancy, and Nancy will ask each applicant to make a brief presentation not to exceed 10 minutes in duration. The committee will then be given an opportunity to ask questions of the applicant. Any other person who is registered with the recording secretary and wishes to address an application either for or against will then be given the opportunity to speak. Please make sure you have turned on your microphone and video and identify yourself clearly for the recording secretary. After everyone has had an opportunity to speak, the committee will make a decision on the application. Once discussion on your application is complete, please mute your microphone and turn off your video. However, you are free to leave the meeting at this time. However, you're also welcome to remain and listen to the balance of the applications. We're advising that each application has a 20-day appeal period as required under the Planning Act, and the last day of appeal for the applications that we are hearing today is February 10, 2022. At this time, I will ask the committee members if any committee member needs to declare a pecuniary conflict of interest on any of the applications.
No.
No.
No, thank you. So none there, Nancy. So Nancy, would you like to present the first application, please?
Thanks, Linda. The first application this evening is minor variance application A1 2022 for Walter Martin for the property at 381 Hill Street in Westmont Rose. The property is zoned agricultural and contains a single detached dwelling, a livestock barn, a turkey barn, and fabricating/welding shop. The applicant's proposing a 513 square meter shop addition and a 96 square meter office addition to the existing metal fabricating/welding operation, and is requesting relief from the on-farm diversified use regulations as follows. Section 6.22.5 to reduce the required setback between the adjacent residence at 388 Hill Street from 150 to approximately 120 meters to the proposed office addition. Section 6.22.5 to reduce the required setback between the adjacent residence at 388 Hill Street from 150 meters to approximately 108 meters to the area of operation. And section 6.13 to reduce the required parking from 18 spaces to 10 spaces, including 2 accessible parking spaces. Mr. Black is here to speak to the application this evening.
Thank you. Mr. Black, would you like to speak to the application A1 2022?
Yeah. Yes, thank you, Madam. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can. Bob, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chairman, members of the committee, staff, and members of the public. My name is Bob Black. I'm with RBA Planning Consultants Limited in Elmira, and I have been retained by Walter Martin to prepare a site plan for his property to bring it into compliance with the new regulations that the township has adopted in section 6.22.5 in particular, and 6.13.4 in the township zoning bylaw 5586 as amended. In preparing the site plan, we were able to comply with the majority of the provisions in the bylaw, save and except for those that Nancy just highlighted with respect to setback from the property across the road, as it relates to our area of operation, and to the new building or the new office building that's being proposed, and for the parking spaces. This particular property is about 32 acres. It is considered to be a farm. Mr. Martin raises turkeys in his turkey barn. He produces about 6,000 birds per year. The rest of the property is a cash crop farm. This year they had corn in the fields, and in the spring they'll plant soybeans followed by fall wheat. The on-farm shop is a metal fabricating shop which manufactures steel trusses for Quonset huts that are used in the agricultural industry to house and shelter animals, livestock. It also repairs farm machinery, but the majority of the work of this shop is for the manufacture and assembly and welding of aluminum utility trailers. And that's the reason for the expansion of the shop. If anyone has visited the property, you'll know that there was a lot of outside storage on the property, and that was a concern with the township. And as a result, the expansion then will allow Mr. Martin to store a lot of his trailers that are being assembled and manufactured and completed inside. As part of that is the proposal for a new office at the front of the building, and a reduction in the parking spaces from 18 down to 10 spaces. Mr. Martin currently employs 5 full-time employees and expects that with the expansion there would probably be 1 and at the most 2 more employees. And these are employees from the Mennonite community who either drive a horse and buggy and put their horse in the barn on the property when they're working, or they ride a bicycle, or they walk. There is one person that works there that does drive a vehicle, and they do pick up some of the other employees and bring them along with them. As a result, we think that it is a minor variance then to reduce the parking. There will be sufficient parking for employees and for visitors. If we were to expand the parking and add another 8 spaces, it would have the implication of increasing the area of operation above and beyond the 2%. In the justification study that we provided with the application, we were required to look at such things as, is this use located on a farm? Is it limited in area to ensure that agriculture remains the primary use and the turkey barn and the cash cropping is the primary use? The shop is secondary. Does it not exceed 2%? And we were able to keep it within the 2%. Is the on-farm diversified use not to be severed? And it will not be. We're not proposing to sever it at all. Is it detrimental to the environment and complies with environmental policies in Chapter 13? And we demonstrated in our justification how it does. And does it include, or does it produce obnoxious or offensive or dangerous dust, odor, noise, or fumes? And we were able to demonstrate that it does not. As far as the use goes across the road, there are no windows that face Hill Street. The wall that's along there is insulated for sound. There's one roll-up door that faces the road, but it'll only be open when there is a tractor trailer backed in to pick up product. So we feel that there is very little, if any, impact to the residents across the road. The office that extends towards Hill Street is not an obnoxious use and should not create any noise, dust, fumes, or odors. The doors for the welding shop are facing north. The expansion is to the north. So again, we feel that there would be no impact to that residential use across Hill Street. I think in summary, Madam Chairman, our review of the planning policies that included the provincial policy statement, the places to grow, the provincial guidelines for uses in prime agricultural areas, the regional official plan, and both the township official plans concluded that the proposed on-farm diversified use on Walter Martin's farm meets the intent and implements a policy directive and of these documents. The only issue then that remains is the application to the Committee of Adjustment as outlined by Nancy in her introduction to the proposal. I think, Madam Chairman, if I could just take a minute and address the comments made by Sandra Bray, which is the climate action volunteer, and it was asked if if Walter would be using fossil fuels to heat the new space or a more energy efficient method used. Currently, it's being heated with propane, but that actually is a secondary source of heat. There is an electric boiler that heats most of the shop right now. But in talking to Walter today, he is considering an alternative method, which would or could be a geothermal application, or even a heat pump, which would be one that he could use for air conditioning and for heating. Currently, he does not know what the estimated greenhouse gas emissions per year is, nor has he prepared a plan. In my dealings with applications in the township, this is the first time that I have seen the comments, but it probably is something that we're going to be dealing with more and more as time goes on. That may not answer all the questions, but if we can't answer them here, we'll do our best to do that later. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Black, for your presentation. Committee members, before maybe I go on, did the applicant wish to speak to anything further on the application? Walter, Mr. Martin? Is he on he's on the phone, correct?
Walter said he was going to call in and be available if there was any questions that he needed to answer. He would be available. Now, I'm not sure if he's on or not.
Yeah, Walter is here.
Yeah, I'm on. I do not have any comments.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Martin. Thank you. Committee members, do you have any questions of either Mr. Black or Mr. Martin? Hans?
Through you to the applicant or the applicant's representative, will the addition reduce the amount of trailers and other things parked in front of the current structure Will more of that be stored inside as opposed to tying up the whole front of the building, the lot?
Yes, that's one of the purposes of the building addition towards the west and to the north. There should not be anything parked in front of the shop once the new building is constructed.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any other questions? Okay, I'm not seeing any. So any members on the public on the call that wish to speak for or against this current application? Okay. Sandra, I see your hand up. Would you like to speak?
Yes.
I know Mr. Black tried to address some of your questions.
My name is Sandra Bray, and I am one of your local environmentalists. I was a co-founder of Apt Environment, which stepped up when we discovered the contamination in our creek by our chemical plants. So it's been a long few decades for me. I want to thank Mr. Black for addressing these questions. I would recommend or suggest or like the idea of the committee considering approving some of these zone changes as long as they are willing to step up with either the air source heat pump or geothermal technology, which will reduce the impact that we have to deal with over the next 10 or 20 years. Otherwise, we're going to be looking at trying to lower those emissions, which you would be approving now, which will, we know, increase the emissions. So thank you. It is the first time I've come to one of these meetings, and I appreciate the questions being addressed by Mr. Black.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm muting my phone because I've got a dog upstairs. It's making some noise. So my apologies. Anyone else wish to speak on the application for or against? Okay, I'm not seeing or hearing anything. Committee members, how do you wish to address this application? Hey, Charles.
I'd like to put a motion forward that minor variance application A012022 regarding Walter Martin at a municipally known address at 381 Hill Street be approved, subject to the staff recommendation or concern that as long as they're following being developed in accordance to and consistent with the application site plan drawings dated November 2nd, 2021.
I'll second.
Hans seconded that. So moved by Charles, second by Hans. All in favor? Or sorry, before I call the question, any further discussion on that? Okay, all in favor? That's everyone. So that is carried. Thank you, Mr. Black. Thank you, Mr. Walter, for your time and your presentations. Much appreciated.
You're quite welcome. Thank you again, Madam Chair and members of the committee. Bye now.
Okay, Nancy, would you like to present the next application, please?
Thanks, Linda. Minor variance application A2 2022 is from Empire Communities Riverland Ltd. for the two properties located at 23 Santo Court and 27 Santo Court in Breslau. The properties are zoned residential, mixed, high density with design guidelines with site-specific provisions. Both properties are currently vacant. The applicant is proposing construction of a new dwelling on each lot, where the porch width will be less than 40% of the house width, including the garage, and is requesting relief from section 11B.3.5BI to reduce the required lot frontage as follows. 27 Santo Court being lot 49 from 10 meters to approximately 9.7 meters, and 23 Santo Court being lot 50 from 10 meters to approximately 9.7 meters. And Ali Balarlu from Empire Communities, from Armstrong Planning, representing the applicant, is here this evening. Ali, if you want to turn your audio and video on, there you go.
Good afternoon. Sorry. Good afternoon, Madam Chair and committee members and other participants. My name is Ali Balarlu, and I'm a planner with Armstrong Planning and Project Management. We're acting as an agent on behalf of Riverland Area to GP Ltd, the owner of the subdivision, Empire Communities, I mean. This minor variance application submitted with regard to lot 49 and lot 50 that are located in Riverland subdivision in Breslau. And these lots are part of phase 2 of this subdivision. These lots front onto Santa Court and are pie-shaped lots with a minimum lot width of 10.6 meter and minimum lot frontage of 9.7 meters that meet the requirement of zoning bylaw for frontage and width. Both lots are currently vacant, as Nancy mentioned, and the proposed development for each lot is single detached dwelling. Per the Township of Woolwich official plan, subject lots designated as residential neighborhood, low medium density residential, and per the zoning bylaw 55-86 by exemption number 261345, subject lots zoned as R5A residential mixed high density with design guidelines. We are looking to reduce required lot frontage only as it relates to the porch width from 10 meter to approximately 9.7 meters for lots 49 and 50 to support permitting and constructing a single detached home on each lot. The porch width of each future homes, I mean, is less than 40% of the house, including the garage. Minor variance will be required for each lot as it relates to section 11B35BI of the zoning bylaw to seek relief from the R5A zone with regards to the minimum required lot frontage of 10 meters. Per section 716.64 of the official plan of Township of Woolwich for the Breslau settlement area, these lots designated as low medium density residential, single detached dwellings are permitted use under the designation. The proposed developments support low density residential development and general intent and purpose of the official plan. Proposed lot frontages of 9.7 meters still support related design guidelines under section 11B35 of the Township zoning bylaw, allow for the safe ingress and egress of vehicles on the lot and are consistent with neighborhood lot pattern and streetscape. As a result, requested variances support general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw as well. Proposed development and requested variances are also in accordance with permitted use in R5A zone as single detached dwelling with attached garage and would not cause negative impacts to nearby land uses. Requested variances are also minor in nature. The lot frontage shortage of 0.3 meter will not change the type of proposed dwellings or street fronting regarding surrounding residential buildings in the subdivision. They are same as other adjacent buildings. They have same setbacks from side yards, and the lots with at building frontages are at least 10 meters. It is our professional opinion that 2 minor variances being requested through this application for lot 49 and 50 meet the 4 tests outlined in section 45 of the Planning Act. The requested variances meet the intent of the official plan and zoning bylaw, are desirable for the development of the neighborhood, are minor, and we recommend their approval. And with regard to Sandra's question for climate change issues, for the first question, I can say, yeah, the fossil fuel will be used in these homes, in future homes, because nothing else available for support the required energy for them, at least for now. Regarding the second question, we don't have this information currently, but this variance will not increase the emissions for sure. And regarding the third question, I can say it depends on the future federal government plans and future owners of the property plans, as they're building these this year and will be used in the future. So we can say, for example, is if it's any plan for those years that mentioned in the question. For example, that's my answers, and thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for your presentation and for addressing those questions. Much appreciated. Committee members, any questions of the applicant's agent, I should, consultant? Okay, I'm not seeing any members of the public, any wishing to speak for or against the applications? Sandra, did you want to speak again to the application?
No, I think not, but thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, so one last call. Any other comments, questions on the application from committee members? How would you like to address the application? Tim, you're on mute. Go ahead. You're on mute, Tim.
Okay, maybe that's better. Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll make a motion that minor variance application A2 2022 Empire Communities Limited, certain subject properties about lot 49 and lot 50, 2723 Sandals Court, to reduce required lot frontages for zoning bylaws 11B.3.5 from 10 meters to 9.7 meters, to permit the subject lots to develop in accordance with the provisions of section 11B.3.5 be approved.
I'll second that, Madam Chair.
Charles. So we have Tim as a mover and Charles as a seconder. Any further discussion on the application before I call the question? Okay, not seeing any. All in favor of the application as the motion is presented? That's everyone. That is carried. So the application is carried. And I did omit to note when Mr. Black was here, but just a reminder that the appeal period does expire on February 10th for these applications. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks
Okay.
again. Okay, Nancy, would you please present A3 2022, please?
Thanks, Linda. Minor variance A3 2022 is for Janet LaRue for the property at 76 Falcon Drive in Elmira. The property is zoned residential medium density and contains a single detached dwelling. The applicant's proposing the construction of a 7.4 meter addition to the front of the dwelling facing Eagle Drive and is requesting relief from section 6.10.2D to reduce the building line setback adjacent to Eagle Drive from 6 meters to approximately 4 meters. The property is bounded by Falcon Drive, Eagle Drive, and Barnswallow Drive in Elmira. And Sarah LaRue is here to speak to the application.
Thanks, Nancy. Please go ahead if you'd like to give a presentation for your application.
Okay, thank you. I'm Sarah LaRue, speaking on behalf of Jeanette LaRue, who is my mother-in-law. At the time we applied for this minor variance, Jeanette owned the house. But since then, as of December 15th, me and my husband, Mark, now own her house. She's moved to an apartment. And we're requesting the addition. I guess we're kind of calling it a mudroom. The reason being, right now, I think what you would call our house is a split bungalow. So when you walk in the front door, which is the only door to get into the house, other than a sliding door out back, which is on an upper deck into the kitchen. There's only about 3 feet of room before you would either go upstairs or downstairs. And we've got 2 small children and a very large dog. So basically the addition of the mudroom was for safety purposes. when you're coming in the house and your dog is, you know, running at you guys, it's you're either going down the stairs or up, and there's just really no room to remove boots and coats and everybody get in the house with everything they have. So we are working with RPM Construction, and they, to be honest, they would have set the measurements on how big they think this addition should be. And I don't think there was any problems with sight lines for traffic. And yes, that would be the reason we're requesting it.
No, thank you. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it.
Okay, thanks.
Committee members, do you have any questions of the applicant? Okay, not seeing any. Call any members of the public wishing to speak for or against the current application before us. Okay, not seeing any. So committee members, how would you like to proceed with the application? Jim?
Yes, I would like to make a motion that minor variance application A03-2022 for Jeanette LaRue concerning a mudroom as described at 76 Falcon Drive in Elmira be approved subject to one recommendation following approval.
Thank you, Jim. Seconder?
I'll second.
Hans? Okay, thank you. So Jim moved, Hans second. Any further discussion on the application before I call the question? Not seeing any. All those in favor? That's everyone. So your application has been approved. And just a reminder that you do have that appeal period, which expires on February 10th of 2022 to take in consideration.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Nancy, I believe our last application, A4 2022, please.
Correct. Minor variance application A4 2022 for Michael Lantine and Lydia Bay for the property at 57 Memorial Avenue in Elmira. The property is zoned residential mixed medium density and contains a single detached dwelling and a detached garage. The applicant is proposing the construction of a 7.3 square meter second story addition to the front of the dwelling in conjunction with the reconstruction of the front porch, and is requesting relief from section 6.10.2D to reduce the building line setback adjacent to Memorial Ave from 6 meters to approximately 3.5 meters. And Michael, if you just want to turn on your microphone, you can address the committee. Thank you.
Sure, sounds good. Everybody can hear us okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay,
Thank
sounds
you.
good. Yeah, I mean, we'll give you the background. So I'm Michael, this is my wife, Lydia. So yeah, we moved to Elmira in 2016. Love the neighbors, love the space. We plan to be here for a while. The house was built in 1904. And I mean, when we purchased the house, we kind of anticipated a bit of a long list of updates and upgrades over the course of the next few years. So over the last 18 months, we've been working with Waymar. They've completely renovated the main floor. They did our back porch, and they've just recently have completed the upper level. So the last kind of phase, if you will, is the front porch. We're planning to replace the existing front porch with a covered porch the width of the house. Right now, the front porch is just kind of at the center of the house. And on the upper level at the center is where we're proposing to, right now we've got about a 9x7 balcony, and the plan is when we replace all of it, that upper balcony will turn into a covered enclosed space. We're actually going to use it as a washroom for the upper level. Through the renovations, we wanted an extra bathroom on the upper level as we kind of go on here. So that's the requested variance for the setback and for the specifically, I guess, for the enclosed space. I think that's pretty much the story. I mean, Sandra, I know you asked some questions. I think I'll address them because I think they're good questions from an environmental standpoint. The house is natural gas. We don't have a way to get an easy way, I should say, to get
supply and returns out there. It would mean going through the exterior of the house. So we're going to be doing in-floor heating for that small space. I don't have an answer on the greenhouse gas emissions. I mean, reducing carbon footprint, I think we do it as much as we can through a number of different carbon offset things, but I don't really have any specific comments that I think I need to bring to the committee on that. And I didn't think that fourth question, Sandra, was actually directed for us, but I'll stop there. I think that covers kind of the questions from Sandra, but we're happy to answer any questions the group has.
Okay. Well, thank you for your presentation. Thank you for trying to address those questions. Much appreciated. Committee members, any questions of the applicant? Okay, I'm not, Hans, yes, go ahead.
Question to the applicant. You're going to be changing the setbacks for your house is going to stand out compared to your neighbors. Do you have any concerns about your neighbors objecting to that?
So I don't. I mean, I'll jump in, and I don't know if you. Okay. I mean, we've talked to a few of them, and we talked to the neighbors, and we haven't heard any concerns from any of the neighbors. There is an upper balcony right now, so that kind of visually, I think the sight line is lower upper balcony right now. Obviously, it changes a bit when it's enclosed, but I don't think it would have any kind of impact on overall sight lines on the street. But I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, I think too, we have a number of large and I think some might call them overgrown shrubs right now that will be removed when we do renovate the porch. So when we do, improve the landscape and the porch, I think that might actually improve the sight lines when our direct neighbor is leaving their house. So we've been, chatting with them. We're friends with their neighbors, so no one's voiced any concerns. And I don't think we saw any comments as a result of the package being sent around to those within, I think, 60 meters of the house. So confident that no one's unhappy with this.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the committee members? Any other questions from anyone in attendance for or against the application? Sandra, I'll just call on you one more time. You're good. Did you have anything further to add?
No, I'm good. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. So committee, how would you like to address this application? Charles?
Thank you. I'll make a motion that minor variance application A04 2022, municipally known as 57 Memorial Ave, be approved, subject to the staff recommendation A, that the reduced building line setback of 3.5 meters with respect to Memorial Ave only apply to the location of proposed first story 22.44 square meter building addition and proposed second story 7.33 square meter building addition, washroom as shown in the provided application site plan drawing dated November 2021.
So Tim, second that? Okay, so Charles moved and Tim seconded. Any further discussion on that motion before I call the question? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor of the motion? Okay, again, that's everyone, so that is carried. Thank you. So your application has been approved, but just again, reminder of the appeal period that expires on February 10th of 2022. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so I think that's all our applications for today, but we do have the minutes to consider. Committee members, any comments or questions on the minutes from the December meeting? Not seeing any. Do I have a mover, seconder for the
Also
moved by Hans to adopt, seconder, Jim? All those in favor? And that's everyone. That's carried. Thank you. And I think that's it. Is there anything further, Nancy?
Yes, just some other
David.
business.
Okay.
David, I didn't know, did you have something to add before?
Oh,
Okay.
you go ahead, Nancy.
Okay, so just a couple things I wanted to note to the committee. Your 2021 honorarium payments have been processed. If you have direct deposit, you should have them. If you're waiting for a check, I think the check run may be this week, so please watch for that. I also wanted to note that, and maybe David was going to pick up on this, there is a report going to Committee of the Whole on January 24th, so that starting in February 2022, at the beginning of all council meetings and committee of council meetings, we will be adding in a land acknowledgement statement.
Oh, very good.
So I have included that in the minutes coming forward, and we will then start adding that in February. Clerk's Department has indicated there would be some training, and I'll reach out to you once I get further direction from them. So just knowing that starting in February, that'll be just a standard then added into the introduction for all our meetings. And that's all I had. David, I didn't know if you had anything else.
Only thing I had to add, Nancy, was just an update on the outstanding appeal that we have for the Marlborough Capital consent on 50 Martins Lane. So Nancy and I were contacted by our lawyer at Smithville Area Law Firm earlier this week, and it sounds like the matter will be going to the Ontario Land Tribunal in the not too distant future. So we have some internal conversations with our legal counsel coming up, and we'll keep the committee updated on any news on that front for that appeal.
Okay, thank you for that update. Appreciate it.
Just
Okay.
quickly, Nancy, sorry, Linda, the land
no, go ahead.
acknowledgement, is that going to be the chair, or is that something that you will be doing, or?
That'll probably be the chair.
I think it will be the chair. Yeah, I think that's kind of the direction I've given, that the chair, and in other committee and council meetings, it would be the, the mayor kind of thing. But again, well, I'll take direction from the clerk and see what, how they're doing the meeting procedures, but I assume it will be added into the chair's introduction.
Beginning, okay.
Yeah.
I just might be coming up to chair soon, so I was just wondering.
Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. That's good.
Yeah, so that's all we had. I don't know, David had mentioned about the February meeting. We'll get that out next week. We have 3 applications coming forward, 3 variance applications. And then we'll see what's coming forward for March. So that's all we have for tonight.
Okay, very good.
Yes, good.
Well,
Thank you.
Good to see everyone. Looking forward to a
Likewise.
good 2022.
Thank you.